evening, ladies. Welcome to the third masterclass in this four-part series to get your business going and actually generating money. It's super important that you get to finish out this year better than you started it and better than you thought. And if you've gone this far into the year and you haven't made the money that you want, now is when you really get to lean into it and follow the steps that I'm teaching so that you can make money. There's nothing outside of what I'm teaching you that will stop you from making money other than what you believe up here. So it's really important that you know, and I've been having this conversation with my clients all week, that 90 to 95% of what you do is your mindset. You've got to ask yourself, what are you committed to? Are you committed to being comfortable? Are you committed to only doing what feels good? Or are you actually committed to succeeding? If you're committed to succeeding, you will succeed. There's no reason why you can't. I did a live this morning where I literally said, you can either, we have all heard the saying, right? People die trying. Why do people die trying? Because they're not actually willing to go beyond their comfort zone. You've got to be willing to go beyond your comfort zone to be able to see success. So when you're on, say hi, let me know that you're here, and we are going to kick off with how to generate offers that convert. The previous masterclasses that I've done are here in the group. You are more than welcome to go back and binge watch them as much as you want. They are not being taken down. They are there for life. For life. The first one was how to launch your coaching business, so the exact framework that you needed. The second one was on how to generate an audience of ideal clients within 30 days. Today is about generating your offers that convert and what exactly you need to do and how you need to pitch it in order to be able to sell it. And the last one will be on Monday, where I'm going to show you how to do this consistently so that you consistently have 5-figure launches. So say hi when you're on and let me know who is here, because I want to know if we have newbies. I want to know if you've been to the other masterclasses. I want to know what the crack is. So for those of you that don't know me and that are new here, my name is Joanne O'Halloran. I'm a business success coach, and I show female online entrepreneurs, so specifically coaches, consultants, and holistic therapists, because the process is the exact same, from how to go from 0 clients and frustrated to sold out. And it's a very simple method and framework to be able to do it, but it depends on whether or not you're committed to actually succeeding. Well, hello, Danica. How are you? By the way, Danica, congratulations on earlier on. That is insane. I am so proud of you and so happy for you. I'm so excited to see what else you're going to achieve. Good for you, girlie. Good for you. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at, I'm going to break down your offers into a couple of different places. I'm going to talk about what an offer is and what it's not, and I'm also going to talk about how you craft your offer. And like I said already, if you haven't watched the last 2 masterclasses, I highly recommend you do, because all of these flow seamlessly together, and you will need all 3 to be able to really drive home the 4th masterclass. So as well as knowing what to do and what not to do, I'm going to look at how you actually pitch it so that it's received and you can actually make sales. Because let's be honest, we're in the business here to be able to make sales. We're not here just for the fun of it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to just do a very quick recap on where we were before. And while I'm doing this, I'm putting this up here. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to have here. So you're free to take screenshots. Like you can come back and watch it later and just follow the process that I'm giving you. But when I'm doing that, I just want you to put, whether you're watching live or on the replay, it doesn't really matter. But what I want you to do is tell me exactly what your business is. And right now, what are the offers that you're providing in your business? What are you offering? Are you offering a service or a product? And if you are, what exactly is your offer? So what does it look like? So like, what would be your 60-second elevator pitch? What would that be? Okay, so just to do a quick recap, right? So the first masterclass was your framework. This is a non-negotiable, people. Even if you're already in business and you've been, making sales or whatever for a while, if you don't know what your framework is and what your business plan is, you need to know. You need to know, because a lot of people can generate up to 6 figures fairly easily, right? Even though, you might meet hurdles along the way. In theory, getting to 6 figures is pretty easy, but then all the panic and the overwhelm kicks in, and what you'll find is I've seen a lot of people talk about this online a lot lately, is that, you know, you'll generate like a couple of months of 10K or more, and then nothing else happens. Nothing. And they can't figure out the process. This is it. Because if you don't have your framework in, it means you don't have your foundation. So think of it like a house, right? Don't mind my drawings, but think of it like a house, right? It's a beautiful house, right? As we can all see, I was an artist in a past life, okay? But you want to have your foundations. So your foundations, right? Let's call these your foundations, are like your tools, like your service, your business plan, like your finance, you know what your profit and loss is going to be. So that's all your foundations, roughly, right? That's all your foundations. Oh, like GDPR and all that kind of stuff, because they're all important, yeah. And your taxes. Here though, so you need them before you can build this, right? But when you're putting up the walls of your house, right? So if you think about it, this is your sales, yeah? In here, so inside are your clients. Where do most people go to when they start a business? Here. They might go maybe niche and then sales, right? What's the walls? Where's your foundations? So if you go from here to here, and that's the only thing that you focus on, you haven't built out your framework. You haven't actually built out the order in which things need to be done. So just as a quick recap, your framework is your foundations. And this is for everybody, right? I don't care what stage you're at in your business. If you don't have this in, you've got to put it in. It's a non-negotiable, okay? So you've got your foundations. What comes after your foundations? Your audience. What is in your audience? Right, it's your niche. It's your avatar. Yeah? It's like your before and after. What comes next? Your messaging. You need these in order to know what your messaging is, right? Because you've got to be able to go bold in your messaging. Hey Kira, got to be able to go super bold. What's number 4? Number 4 is your offer, which is what we're going to look at. And number 5 is your program. That is the order that they go in, right? So if you can see, I have these broken out. Sorry, I keep moving away from this. I have these broken out, okay? Let me turn this way. I have these broken out. So you can see your program is right the way down the bottom, yet most people focus on this for their offer. So like I said, we're going to talk about what an offer is and what an offer is not. Okay, so number 1 is your framework. Number 2 was your audience. So we did how to build your audience in 30 days. I broke it down for you. For those of you that were on, how many of you did it? Did you do it? Have you started it? We're like, what, 5 days in? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 days in. How much of it is done? Is even day 1 done? Because if it's not, this is where you get to ask yourself, are you committed to do what's comfortable, or are you actually committed to your success? Fun question, bitch of an answer, right? Because we'll go, yeah, okay, I'm definitely committed to my success. But I feel super uncomfortable, so I don't want to do it, right? Because it raises all of the self-doubt that comes up, the feeling of not being good enough. I was actually going to share with one of my clients specifically on this yesterday. She had hit a wall of overwhelm. Now this woman is like an insane high achiever, so her comfort zone, it would be significantly higher than other people, so she could achieve an awful lot. Like this is why I'm saying, for some people achieving the 6 figures like happens like that, right? She's one of these people because she can do a lot. She has a lot of bandwidth before the fear kicks in. Anyway, the fear kicked in. It happens at different stages for different people. And she was like, I just can't do it. I feel out of balance. I want to make sure that I'm comfortable. I don't feel comfortable doing this. I feel like I'm trying to convince myself to do it. So anyway, we were talking through this, and this is very common, right? So if this has happened for you, it's not that you can't do it. It's not that the strategy doesn't work. It's that you're hitting your comfort zone, right? So let me draw this just for 1 second. Think, this is where we all operate, right? This circle here, this one, is our comfort zone. We will like kind of play around here. But if you're like a real like high achiever, this is actually where you're able to push your comfort zone to. So once you start being in here, that's when it kicks in. But for most people to get to there, they have to go through here and then they get to here. But she had already burst through here, so she was sitting up here. I was sharing with her how overwhelm comes up and what it's like, and that it has nothing got to do with the fact that she can't do this. It has nothing got to do with the fact that she needs to push, it's for an event that she's doing, or that she needs to push it out, or that it's not aligned with her. Because I said this before on the masterclasses, alignment is one of the most misunderstood words, and it is used dangerously. Like what I shared this morning, if you were on the Elevate Your Business talks, if you're not watching them, you need to make it your business to watch them, because they will support you in your business growth. But this morning I talked about how the work-life balance is also a dangerous piece, because what it is, it allows you to keep yourself stuck. So this lady yesterday, when we were having a conversation, she was talking about how she had talked to other people, because she'd be quite like me, as in, if I speak it out, it's happening. So she was speaking it out, but what she was unintentionally doing was speaking it out until she found a person that told her in a nutshell that she shouldn't be doing this, that it was just so much work, and why would you put yourself under that much pressure? When we feel scared and we operate out here, right outside of our comfort zone, we will unintentionally, but intentionally, so like subconsciously, we will go and seek out people that will tell us we can't do this, we should never do this, because our ego is pulling us back to try and make us feel safe. Let me go back to this. If you have not done it, your ego is driving you. Every day you've got to get up and ask yourself, what am I committed to, success or comfort? Because let me tell you this, I swear, I promise, right? This is not where success lives. Now, I'm not saying you're going to feel massively uncomfortable every day, but you're going to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, so you are going to feel uncomfortable. You have got to make sure that this is what you're committed to. So that every morning when you get up, you're saying, okay, what is my intention today? What am I committed to today? What am I committed to? Success or comfort? Success, okay, great. Now what am I committed to creating? These are words that I use with my clients. What are you committed to creating today? Great. What do you need support with, and who do you need support from to make it happen? Not can I make it happen? What do I need support with, and who do I need support from to make it happen? So if you're committed to success, it's what? Not why, what? What do I need to make it happen? Or how can I make it happen? What will move you forward? One of the coaches in my business, Sharon, is a leadership coach, and that is one that she uses all the time. How can I move this forward? So if you're one of my clients, you will have access to Sharon, who talks into leadership. She trains on leadership. How can I move this forward? So if you're committed to success, these are the words that you've got to always use. Okay? So if you have not done this and self-doubt is kicking in, recommit. Don't fall off the bandwagon. Recommit. Don't go, this isn't going to work for me. Recommit. Every successful person gets up in the morning and commits themselves to success, and commits to doing whatever they need to do to move themselves forward. And if something doesn't go right, like if you're a coach, you will know these words, you will course correct. If you're not a coach, what it means is, okay, what is the solution to this problem in front of me? Not, oh my God, there's a problem, everything's going to fall apart. What is the solution to my problem? Okay, so go back to this. We are going to look at both of these today because they go hand in hand. You cannot make an offer without knowing your messaging. So I'm going to talk to you about how you do that. If you haven't done this, you're not going to know what your messaging is. Okay, so in the chat, put in what it is that you offer in your business. These are your sessions, so it's very important that you engage with these so that you can get the information that you need to be able to move yourself forward. It got dark here very quickly. I'm back in my own house today, so a bit more light. Okay. So we looked at how you move your audience from cold to warm to hot. Can you see that? Okay, yeah, from cold to warm to hot. So we looked at that, how you move your audience from cold to warm to hot. Cold is your likes and your follows. Warm is when they're on your email list. Hot is where we're going to get them to. All right. Hot comes down to your messaging and your lead live magnet. Okay. So here's stats that you want to know. These are stuff that you actively want to know. Write them down. You want to have your audience, so whoever is on with you, 80% sold before your offer. Okay? 80% sold. No, it doesn't matter if they're on live or replay. I had one event there actually at the start of the year. It was in February. Yeah, it was in February. I had nobody turn up live for the entire thing. And yet I made 4 sales from people on the replays. That had never happened before. That was the oddest thing for me. So you still want to speak in and get them 80% sold before you even make your offer. All right, so it doesn't matter if it's live, doesn't matter if it's a replay, 80% sold. Got it? From your email list, remember 5% are ready to buy. Okay, so now, how do you get them from warm to hot? We looked at this when we were looking at your audience build, right? So what you're going to do is you are going to have a game plan to bring people from cold to warm to hot, and it's going to involve 2 lead magnets. We still haven't got to your offer, right? And I'm doing this in this order because you need to understand it. You need to understand this and follow this flow every single solitary time you're making an offer. Your offer is basically your position. What are you positioning to the people that are in front of you? Where are you getting them to? That's your offer. Your offer is not your program. It is not your service. It is not your product. Okay, so you're going to get them from here, from cold to hot, through 2 lead magnets. One is live. So that can be a masterclass, it can be a challenge, it can be a workshop, it can be a retreat, can be like a summit. So just in case you don't know, there's a difference between them all. So a masterclass is this, where you're just teaching, right? You're teaching, and if questions come up, you answer them. A workshop is where you teach for anywhere between an hour and an hour and a half, and then you coach for an hour and a half, kind of afterwards. A challenge is where you bring people over a series of days and you actively give them steps to take. A retreat is where it's all about the experiences and there's takeaways. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so you want to get them from here to here by doing one live. So we looked at this. To get them from cold to warm, your content matters. Okay, your content matters. How do you know what your content is? You ask. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you will notice that there is questions up consistently where I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions to gather information. I'm asking questions to get a feel of what people really feel, what they think. I'm asking questions to see what resonates with people and what doesn't. So constantly ask questions, because let me tell you something, even if you ask a question and people give you no response, that's feedback, that tells you something. So I've asked you twice what your offer is and nobody has responded. So that tells me that you don't know what you're offering, or you're not comfortable with what you offer yet. That's what that tells me. So constantly ask. Constantly ask. It's not about condemning people, it's not about making people feel bad, but it's giving you information, because our role, no matter what we're selling, our role is to support the person and to help them get to where they want to be. So like if I can see that Danica and Kira are on. So okay, I know both of you. Kira, you're a coach. Danica, you're in network marketing. So I know where you ladies are going to, right? And what it is that you need. Do you know what your clients need? If you don't, you get to ask them. So I already gave you like that you need to contact people and talk to them where they're at, figure out what it is that they're Googling, find out what their emotional needs are and what would support them in getting them what they need. That's you asking. You create your content from it, and you create a lead magnet around that and invite them into it. Your next one then is where you get them from warm to hot. So once they're on your email list, they're warm. You want to move them to hot. What I personally like to do and what I teach my clients to do is a launch sequence, which I'm going to be teaching you properly on Monday. But for now, literally went through this with one of my clients. She has a planned, she has 4 launches between now and year end because there's Black Friday coming up, and she sells doTERRA oils and she does Reiki and massages. So she is perfectly positioned for Black Friday, and she's perfectly positioned for the kiddies going back to school, right? So we've done a launch sequence. So I'll just give you what I taught her this morning. So she goes into, she knows her content, which gets repeated 3 times a day. Okay, so what I mean by that is your stories, reels, posts, lives, whatever it is, right? But it's the same thing that you're talking about. You're just talking about it in different ways, right? So she's doing that for 5 to 7 days. Okay, then she's going into 5-day lives, joint, talking about the exact same thing. So I'm just taking off my watch, it won't stop beeping. 5-day lives. Okay, I'm telling you this because this is what you need in your lead up to your offers, right? She, after this, then she goes into her offer. Why do we do it like that? Share in the comments why we do it like that. Why are we doing it like this? So her launch sequence is that she has content for 5 to 7 days, repeated 3 times a day, talking about specifically. She's already asked this question. She already knows. Teething is her focus point. That's what she's focusing on. Teething. That's what she's focusing on. So she's going into a launch. Why do we do it like this? Content 5 to 7 days, repeated 3 times a day, then into 5-day joint lives, and then into our offer. Share in the chat why we do it in this order. It's important for you to know this. So remember, you've got to be able to lead this from the front, right? Rather than sitting back and waiting, because if you sit back and wait for the penny to drop, it's very challenging. When you go in, and even if you are like not sure, but you give it a go, that's where you learn. Being messy as a person who's a controller, that was one of the hardest things I had to learn, but actually it's where I have the most fun because I get to really be me. So this is what, which we're going to talk about properly on Monday, but this is what your launch looks like. We do it like this because it's the know, like, and trust factor. Look at all the touch points that you have with somebody. We want to get people 80% sold before you get to here. You're building up the know, like, and trust factor over and over and over and over and over. When you're doing a joint live with somebody, while they're not endorsing you, they're with you, which gives you an air of authority. You've got to stand in your authority and be really bold with your messaging to get to here. So what do I mean by be bold with your messaging? When we're talking about things being 80% sold, right, before you get there, what you're doing is money, time, and effort come up as what you would know in sales as objections, right? But really what they are is resistance. The resistance to actually going all in. So, and this is good for you to know too, right? Because you get to ask yourself where you're at. When you wake up in the morning, I asked you to ask yourself, are you committed to being comfortable or are you committed to success? Because all of these matter. All of these matter, and you need to be speaking into these consistently by the time you get to your offer. Because really when you get to your offer, the work is already done. People are sitting there with a card ready to go. I always remember my business coach that I have now. I always remember some of you will know the story, right? Because I've shared it before. So I had a personal development coach for 6 months, and it was good because it got me out of my own way and I learned how to invest in myself. And then I spent another, I'd say probably 7,000 on just different business coaching, but I wasn't getting anywhere, right? I just wasn't moving. And I was applying all the personal development stuff that I had spent. I'd spent 6,000 on it. And I was like, shit, why isn't this working? I was like, I don't have any more money to spend because For those of you that don't know, when I first started my journey with my personal development coach was right when COVID hit. I had come out of a long-term relationship and I'd actually changed jobs for him, which is a whole other story which I'll get into again. But I had changed jobs for him to have a better work-life balance, which is why I know this is dangerous. And we went our separate ways. And I was a single parent before I met him, so now I was back to being a single parent, earning half the money I was earning before, and then COVID hit, and my hours in work got dropped to virtually nothing. Now, I had no savings because they were all gone after that relationship. No savings. My hours in work got dropped to nothing, and I could not pay my mortgage. I had no money to be able to pay my mortgage. There was nothing in my savings account. I mean, zero. My credit cards were maxed out. I couldn't get another credit card because my hours in work had dropped down. And COVID, obviously, nobody was giving out anything. So I had to go to the bank and say to them, look, I can't afford to pay my mortgage. I was mortified. Like, I remember being so upset. The girl on the phone was so lovely. I was devastated, like so upset. And what upset me more was Leah, she was what, 19? 18, 19, she was giving me money from her paycheck. She used to give up money at home anyway, but she was giving me up money to be able, just so we could eat. Like, as a mother, who wants that? Nobody wants to be in that position, but I was in that position. And I'd met my first coach, who was a personal development coach, and when she told me it was 6,000, I remember going, what the fuck am I going to do? Because I was like, I knew I needed something to shift this. I couldn't shift it myself, and I'd already decided that she was a person that was going to shift me, because in my words I needed fixing and she was going to fix me. But I didn't have the money. I had €1,400 in my bank account from my last wages, and that was it. There was no money after that. And I handed her the money. I literally emptied out my bank account to her and said, the rest of the money's in the credit union, I just need to transfer it. There was no money in the credit union, zero. I had worked for a company a couple of years back that had been illegally liquidated, so we never got paid our wages, but we never thought we would get paid our wages, because after I'd gone through like the accountants and the liquidators, nothing ever came. So this was like ages later. Money happened to come in the post. Great, I paid for her, brilliant. Then comes around to my business coach. My business coach was 12 grand the first year. I pay her more now. She was 12 grand the first year. And I was like, shit, because I'd only just started paying my mortgage again. And I was like, do I want to be back in a position where I felt like I did before? What was different this time? I was standing in my own power, and I was making a decision based on where I wanted to be and what I wanted to get to, not on my emotions. And this is really important for you to understand. So I got to go to the bank and have a different conversation. So I had paid more. I had paid over and above what my mortgage was. So I actually had a credit sitting there that would allow me to pause my mortgage intentionally. So I was able to make that decision in 2020, after I'd gone through that thing of not being able to pay my mortgage, because I couldn't, it was either pay the mortgage or eat. There wasn't anything in between. To making money again to be able to pay my mortgage, to then going, actually I want to stop my mortgage so I can pay for a business coach to get me where I want to be. Do you know how many people told me I was off the wall for doing that? So many. Did I care? Yeah, I did, because you don't want people around you to feel like you're crazy. And I felt like I was under pressure, and I felt massively overwhelmed. However, this I will never accept as a story from anybody as to why they won't invest in themselves. Because if I went through that as a single parent, what's your excuse? Because they're just excuses. They're purely just excuses. But what you've got to do is speak into all of them through this entire journey before you make your offer, so that people know that you're talking to them. 99% of people that enroll in my program and are clients with me will have one of these. It's a rarity that they don't, right? It's a rarity, because we all do. We're built that way, right? I share my story because I know that that's an obvious one, is I don't have the money, but yet we do. We all have the money. We all have the money to invest. It's just whether or not we want to make it a priority. Do you know what it actually means if somebody says that they don't have the money to invest? It's actually not that they don't. Well, sorry. First of all, you need to make sure that you qualify your clients before they come to you. But say it's a qualified client and they say that when I say qualified, I don't mean as in like physical qualifications, but as in they meet your criteria of your ideal client, which go back to here. But in terms of money, do you know why this comes up? And this is really good for you to know, is they don't trust themselves. So they don't trust themselves to see it through. They don't trust themselves to follow it through. And it's funny because I had a conversation with somebody there a couple of weeks ago, and all she kept saying was, well, am I going to get a one-to-one with you? Am I going to get a one-to-one with you? And I'm like, no, but why do you need one? Why don't you? So you've already decided that you don't trust the process. You don't trust that you're going to get the results. You don't trust that you're going to get the answers. When did you stop trusting yourself? So these are things that you get to lean into before you ever make your offer. If time comes up, anyone that has a time issue is going to have an overwhelm issue, right? So that is priorities. If they say that I don't have the time right now, or I want to wait till the kids get older, or I want to do X, Y, and Z, they're choosing to not make it a priority. Right? If they're saying I don't have the time right now, they're choosing to not make it a priority. If it's an effort, so like an energy kind of thing, then it's that they're not choosing them. So I'll just say choose me, right? They're not choosing me. So all of these you get to speak into before you ever make your offer, so that you can get them 80% sold. Let me know if this is resonating with you. Just say yes if it is, no if it's not, so that I can know what I need to speak into more. Okay? So you get to speak into all of these before you ever make your offer. This is all me leading up into how you craft your offer. This is all really important and you need to know. So with my client today, when we were crafting out this, so she's going to do it 4 times before the end of the year. She knows exactly where in all of these she gets to speak into all of these. How does she do that? Yes, great. Okay, so how does she do that? You will see this on my post too. In fact, you will have seen it on a post that went up today. I saw Hayley put that one up today around how I invested the 12,000 and where that came from about me pausing my mortgage. She will share this in here, right? In here, she will share her story around money. She will share time things in here. So from a time perspective, if I was to share it from my story and from a coaching point of view, time is where you prioritize, right? So like what I asked you, when I'm asking you what you're committed to, if you're committed to being comfortable or you're committed to success. If you're committed to success, then you're making success a priority. How much time are you willing to put into it? That's up to you. You're running your business, nobody else is. If you want somebody to come in and do it for you, then you need to hire a business operations person. But you have always got to be the forefront of your business. We don't have that luxury of being able to pull away from it because we are a brand, right? It's different if you're a product. But when you're not a product, actually, even if you are a product, because look at Sarah Blakely, she is the brand of Spanx. But it's making it a priority. So what do you prioritize? So I share how I prioritize my day. I have time in the morning that's just set out purely for priorities. So from 6:30 to 7:30-ish, right, is like when I do my daily routine, my morning routine in there. At 8, I have an accountability call with Sharon, who's on my coaching team. So we talk about that for the day, what's committed for the day, right? From 8 to 9 is going for my walk with the dog, having a shower, get my breakfast. And then I have nothing booked in between 9 and 9:30 because that's when I focus on what my activities are going to be for the day. My entire day then is planned out. My entire day. So on times when I'm in list building, so audience generation mode, my weeks, I can tell you right now, my weeks are about 20 to 25 hours per week. When I'm not in audience build mode, my hours can be anywhere between 10 to 12 hours per week. That's what it is. When I was working, because you need to know this too, right? When I was working, you're welcome, Kira. When I was working, so obviously I worked in a corporate job, and as we started to come out of COVID, my hours built up more and more and more, right? So it was last year when I left my job. So when I handed in my notice, they asked me would I stay on for a while because I was the only person in Ireland. There was nobody else in Ireland because that's how I'd always operated, right? So what I did was from 6 to 8:45 in the morning, I worked on my business. You see that? I worked on my business. From 6 in the evening to 9, right? I had a mixture of my coaching call and my coaching clients. That was how I did it. But what I did was I mapped out how many days I was working, so I did 5 days. Now I coach on a Monday, Tuesday. So I have my private clients on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I have my all my group clients on a Monday. I don't coach on a Friday. Never coach on a Friday. I also only work the first 3 weeks of the month. So going back to this, all of this is stuff that you get to speak into so that you can get people 80% sold. We think our offers are, you know, when we go out and we're like, okay, so like say if I was to talk about my program. So my program's called Takeoff, right? So if I was to say to you, okay, so here's my offer. My offer to you, this is not an offer, but my offer to you is that you can join Takeoff. Takeoff runs for 12 months. All of this is true, right? Takeoff runs for 12 months. You have online modules. You have your coaching calls for the first 3 weeks of a month. They train you on what to do. Then you're going to go off and do it. You're going to start off with building your audience, get clear on your audience, get clear on your day. Then we're going to walk you through your sales period. Then we're going to get you clear on your messaging. You're going to rinse and repeat this, and we're going to focus on your sales and your messaging and what your plan is for the entire year. Who cares about that? Nobody. Nobody cares. Now, if I was to turn around to you and say, okay, so here's my offer. Again, this isn't an offer, but I'm just saying, okay, so here's my offer. How would you like to be able to go from having inconsistent clients or even no clients to being completely sold out? How would you like it if you could do that in 10 hours a week? 10 hours a week, that you could be given a rinse and repeated system that's been proven to work. Here's the list of clients that use this over and over and over again and have shown that it works. How much time would that save you having that there? Having somebody to hold your hand as you walk through it, to know that when you fall down, you will get picked up, to know that you're surrounded by a community of people that are going through the same thing. Which lands better? One where I actually walked you through my program, or the one where I told you what you were going to get? Like, so what's your transformation? Your transformation is that you're going from 0 to sold out. Are you following me? Okay, so now let's talk about actually crafting your offer. So you get to put all the last few days together, okay? So all of these masterclasses get to go together because this is your system. And this is no different to what I teach my clients, okay? So what is your offer? Okay. This is how you create your offer. I never, and I swear on my child's life, I never know what my offer is until I'm in front of my audience. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. You don't. You need an idea, but you don't need to know, okay? As an entrepreneur, you've got to be able to not wing it, but you've got to be able to read the room and know what it is that people need. Okay, so your offer is not your service or your program. Okay, it's not. It is not your service and it's not your program. If I look at the offer that we created for Lisa today, right? When we were looking at her, like she's got 4 launches. Her first offer, right? So the first one, she's doing 2 in September. So the first one she's doing in September, we know her topic is teething, right? We know that. We know her topic is teething. What's her offer? Take a guess. Put it into the comments what you think Lisa's offer is. So I'll tell you what she does, right? So remember, it's not your service and it's not your product. What Lisa does is she's an affiliate, or not an affiliate, but she is a network marketer for doTERRA oils, which I love. I have so many of them here, and I have my own blend too. Love oils, right? I even have oils in my water. So she does doTERRA oils, and she does Reiki, and she does massage. So what do you think her offer is? So we know it's not these. So for teething, what do you think her offer is? Put it into the comments. I'm curious to see what you think it is. Remember, there's no wrong answers because this is all learning, okay? And there's no judgment, but it's just to show you where people's minds go and then what it actually is. So put in what you think it is. So she sells oils, she does Reiki, and she does massage. So she's a holistic therapist, right? So put it into the chat there. Don't be shy. What do you think her offer is? Go on, put it into the chat. Relaxation. Close, Kira, yeah? You're actually pretty close. Lisa's offer is sleep-filled nights. Within this, she has 3 different things. She's got 2 for the baby and 1 for the mum. Sleep-filled nights for all the family. That's what her offer is. You see where I'm going with this? Your offer is never your service or your product. Your offer is the transformation. Okay? So it's a transformation. So your job is to transition from the before to the after. You do this through your content. When you're in your live, people have already absorbed your content. So then you get to speak into the money, time, and energy even more. And here's why. You can show anybody how to do anything very, very quickly. I could map out from you, and I say this to my clients all the time, I could literally spend 4 hours and map you out from start to finish how you build, grow, and scale your business to 6 figures. Here's the fun thing. 0 people will go do that. 0. Why? Because people don't know how to get from here to here. Every single solitary person needs somebody to support them to get from here to here, because we've got blind spots. I know there's ways of being that don't work for me if they're in their totality, right? So my ways of being that don't work for me are, I am incredibly controlled. So as in, I need to be in control of absolutely everything. So like being vulnerable and being messy was like, are you having a laugh? Like that's never going to happen. So being controlled, needing to be right. Oh my goodness. That was actually, how would I describe it? It was literally like being in a box that you couldn't get out of because I had to be right all the time. And I was petrified that if I was wrong, everything would fall apart and that people would say things to me that I couldn't handle. So when people say they fear being judged, they're not words I would use, but what I would say is I was terrified somebody would say something to me that I would feel would hurt my feelings. And then I'd feel awful, and then it would break our relationship because I wouldn't know how to be with them anymore, because now I started creating stories around what they actually thought of me. So they didn't work for me. The same way I've only shown the good stuff, which is why I tell the bad stuff. So only showing the good stuff, because that was my habit. However, there is good sides to that. So as in, I will make decisions super, super quickly. I am like a dog with a bone. I will not let anything go. And I will keep pushing through. So even when there's obstacles in my way, I won't necessarily see them as obstacles. I'll batter the crap out of them to get them out of my way. But what that means is that this side of me is just really strong, right? So it's super, super strong. But the other side of me has had to be elevated. So all the money I've spent on personal development has been to lift up the other side. But my first ever coach, I'm one of her biggest success stories. No word of a lie, right? Her name is Eva Petrak. You can actually go and have a look. She talks about me all the time, and I'm actually doing an event with her on Sunday because she pulls me back in to talk about this, because there's very few people that do. A word I use for myself that I would never have used when I first met her is, I would say I'm very manipulative. How many people do you hear saying that? You will hear narcissists saying it. Let me explain the context of what I mean by that. I will orchestrate. So, okay, let me take my relationship with me and Leah, my daughter. It was shocking for an awful long time. I didn't want to see it as shocking because it was basically like, I'm the mother, you do what I tell you, and that's it, right? So, like, don't argue with me, just do what I tell you to do, because I didn't want her to be raised you know, in a way where she wasn't strong, and that, you know, when she would go outside, that she'd be disrespectful or disrespected. And, you know, I was like, you always do things from a loving way, but it was super, super controlled. But whenever she would get upset about something I had said, that would really hurt my feelings inside. Like, I'd get really upset and go, shit, I'm a crap mother. I can't believe I did that to her. But yet at the same time, I had such a need to be right. I would hear her conversation, I would listen to her, but then later on, I would make it a priority to manipulate a situation so that I could get my point across to be right. Do you hear me? So I would never have said that before. So my transformation was to get to here, because you need to be vulnerable as a business owner, right? You can't be right all the time. You can't have that need to be right. You have to be open. You have to be open to where people are at, because if you're not, what happens is you condemn people for not doing it your way. Whereas people need to transition. They have to go through a transformation, and we all go through it at different stages. All go through it at different stages. So here's another fun thing that you also need to know. There's 4 different types of buyers. You get to ask yourself, what type of buyer are you? And you need to know this, because how you buy is how you sell. Okay, so this is what your offer is. So your offer is the transformation, and you have to transition them to the before and after, right? For anyone that has not had the sales training the way that I teach it, probably doesn't know this, okay? You will know these, but you're not going to know this. Okay. Okay. So somebody who is direct, right? So like me, somebody who is direct means that they will buy now. Not later, now. Like, just get to the point and do it now. So we would know these as like directors, like, you know, if you've done any personality styles, red like would be the personality style. So it's now, right? The here and the now. Somebody who is like an ideas person, or is very excitable, or is promoter, so I'm a mixture of both of these, right? Means that I'm all about the vision and the experience. So if I look at my if I look at all, actually not my second coach, because I didn't resonate with her, but I appreciated the effort that she was putting in. She had a lovely style about her, but I didn't resonate with her. If I look at my very first coach, this was strong in her. Get it done now, because if you don't, your life's going to be shit. That's not what she said, but that's what I heard, right? So I'm like, yeah, it already is shit. I need to do this. My coach that I have now is a mixture of both of these. She is all about the vision, all about the experience, all about creating what's possible. What's possible for you, what's possible for your life, what's possible for your family. But get it done now. Don't wait till tomorrow. She's all about doubling down. They're words that she uses. So double down, get it done really, really quickly. So I will buy like that. Now, here's the fun thing about somebody that's all about the vision and the experience. If they're in, they bring every single solitary person they know with them. That would be me. I would have said before, I'm the worst salesperson in the world. I'm actually the best, because I'm all into this. All into this. I had one client that was all promoter energy. She, at one stage, I was another revenue stream for her, because sorry, I got distracted there. Danica, by your comments, I'll come back to it in a second. I was another revenue stream for her, because she was so much promoter. She was driving so much traffic to me, and if a client of mine refers somebody to me, I give them like a thank you gift. Danica, I'm vulnerable now, not previously in the corporate world. And it's a big thing to step into vulnerability, because as women, we've been, like, I want to say the words, we've been condemned for so long, and there's so many different boxes people have tried to fit us into. And depending on what our community is, or what way we've been raised, whether you think about it or not, you've been put into a box. That's trying to get out of that box is a nightmare. Okay, so these are the buying styles. So direct is like here and now. Promoter is like you're all about the experience. So these will be yellow on a personality test, right? Then you've got somebody who's very analytical, right? So very logical. So they need the detail. And they need space for you to be able to ask questions and to get the answers. And they need time. These want the here and now. These also want the here and now in an experience format. These need time. So this is where you can lose people in their offers. And then you've got these people that are super supportive, which means that they're all about, when I say collaboration, they're all about everybody needing to come together. They want to make sure that everybody else is okay. So what they'll do is they'll ask everybody else's opinion before they'll make a decision. Which one are you? Which one is you right now? What's your buying style? Is your buying style, you're just waiting on somebody to make the offer? Is it that you get super, super excited about the possibilities and you're in? Is it that you need time? You need time to go through all the detail. You want to know and you want to test it out a few times before you would make any decision? Or are you somebody that needs to ask everybody else's opinion and make sure that it's okay by everybody else that you do this? There's no right and wrong or this, but it's really important that you know how you buy, because if you don't know how you buy, you're not going to know how you sell. So I have to change my style to fit all of these. Most people that are coaches are here. So what will they not do? They're terrified to ask for money. They won't actually coach people until they're a client, and then they have self-doubt consistently. Okay, so Kira, so you're probably an analyzer, great. Danica, Danica, you're very like me, I know. Okay, so it's important for you to know these because you have to speak into all of them. So this is where offers fall. So you make your offer, right? So you make your offer, and we know that your offer is not served. So if we talk about Lisa's, it's for sleep-filled nights. So she has to hit all of these points. How does she hit the direct person? She just tells it like it is. If you want sleep-filled nights, then this is what you've got to do. Direct. Now, the vision and the experience. Paint a picture of what it looks like for you sitting there holding your baby, or like you can do this in a reel or a video where somebody like that you're in bed and people are sleeping, right? You're like, oh my god, and the mom wakes up and she's all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. The dad wakes up, he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. The other mom wakes up, she's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Whatever it is, right? You're creating the experience. Everybody's happy, like you'd be going to Disney World. The detail. You put the detail in your posts, right? So the detail. Okay, so step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, all the way down. You put your detail. List out the detail. And then from the supporter type person, so the people that like to know that everybody else is included, talk about the other people. So what Lisa will do is she'll talk about the mum, she'll talk about the dad, she'll talk about the siblings. She'll probably also talk about school. So she'll talk about everybody and how everybody is intertwined and how everybody's lives are better for it. So you get to talk about all of this. So you need to hit all these points, and it doesn't need to be a big deal. We will overthink this. Do not overthink this, all right? It doesn't need to be a big deal to cover all of these. You can do it really quickly. I've been doing it consistently throughout these entire masterclasses. I've just showed you how Lisa would do it. So let me take mine, right? So how would I say mine? Mine is, okay, I'm gonna mix these two together, right? So if I'm making an offer, mine is, how long have you been waiting to get your business going and to be making consistent clients? It hasn't happened for you right now. It hasn't happened because we haven't got you from here to here. You don't know yet what the framework is. There's something blocking you from doing that. If you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? Now, imagine what you can create when you have that consistent sold out process. You know that it's possible because you've seen all the people that have do it. There is a number of client success stories in here. Danica, who is one of my clients who's actually starting in September, has already started generating results. That's what's possible when you say yes to you. What does it look like? For 12 months, I work with you. I train you on exactly what to do. I pick you up and you fall down because your journey is going to go like this. Fact, your journey is going to go like this. So you're supported. You're supported with online modules in case you need to go back and review things. The calls are recorded that are there for you. I will answer all your questions to get you from zero to sold out. The difference that it will make for your family when you're consistently generating revenue. Imagine the relief you're going to feel when you know that your bills are being paid, that you actually have a sustainable business. No more do you have to worry about, well, oh my god, do I have to go into a sales period and have to cancel all of my plans because I'm going into a sales period? No, you will actually have a launch strategy that works. I've hit all them. When do we start? 5th of September. That's literally how quickly you do it. Danica, on the supporter, can you add in testimonials? Yeah. Always. You always want to have the social proof. How many times have I said today, just on this one live, about all the testimonials that are there? I literally spoke about Lisa. Danica, you're starting with me in 2 weeks' time. Yes, you talk about it. Like, if I look at the different styles that I have now, right, I would say and interestingly enough, the majority of my clients fit into this. They'll fit into the analyzer and the supporter. Now, here's also a fun fact. This is where you've got to be really, really clear on what you're offering, right? So your offer is never your product or service, it's the transformation, and your job is to transition them from B to A, before to after, right? So B to A. Your promoters and your like direct people will buy instantly. The moment you make an offer, if they're in, they're in. No ifs, ands or buts. If they're in, they're in. These take time, which is why you need a follow-up sequence, which is why you'll hear salespeople talking about open cart and closed cart. What you need is a follow-up sequence, and you need to speak into all these styles. Speak into these first, and then into these. These follow. You will make more sales in the days after you make an offer than you will during your offer. Don't ever get scared when people don't buy the moment you make an offer. This is where the fun is. I had one person that came to every event I did for 18 months before she bought. She fits into this. She needed to feel safe, feel seen, feel heard. So yeah, you definitely want to add in your testimonials. 100% you want to add in your testimonials. Because you want to show people what's possible and how they go about doing it. So let's go back over this with your offer. You'll add your social proof in. Like, so say for me, mine are here in the Facebook group. They're already there, so I'll just tag people in them. And then what I tend to do is, if I'm doing challenges, I'll bring people on live, like you saw, Danica, right? So I brought, how many people? Was there 7 of them, 8 of them that I brought on live to show? And then you'll add them into your email sequence to follow up. Don't leave any money on the table by not following up. Make sure that you consistently follow up. Consistently. And for those that have joined your event but still haven't signed up, they are still warm. Never forget that. Remember, cold, warm, hot. So many people that will sit in there. Don't condemn them. Don't berate them. Don't presume that they're dead wood. They're not. They're not. You just haven't got them from here to here. You get to hold space for them. Sales is, if you're in sales to make money, you're in the wrong game. Does that sound crazy? Of course it does. Never, ever, ever sell money. Never, ever, ever make a sales to get. Your sales want to be to provide. You want to provide the transformation. That's our job. So it doesn't matter whether it's a product or service. Our job is to provide the transformation. So like, say with my clients, my job is not to get them the results. My job is to give them the framework and show them how to do it. It is their job to get the results because they've got to apply all of this. I cannot go into their brain and go do it for them. But what I can do is give you every possible opportunity to get you from here to here by supporting you, by coaching you through it, by holding space for you when you're in your down slopes, because we all have them. We all have them. There's nobody that doesn't have them. When I changed at the start of this year of what my focus was going to be from a pitching point of view, oh my goodness, massive self-doubt came in. How could it not? It was new, but I held space for the transformation that I was creating for people and detach completely from the outcome, because what I was offering, you've got to believe in what you offer. You've got to know that it's actively going to get people the transformation. Do I know what I do gets people the transformation? Absolutely. Is it about me? No, it's not. It's about you and what will get you from your before to after. What will get you from your before to after? So ladies, what are your questions? Put them into the chat box for me so that I can see and that I can support you. Sorry, that was my dog. Welcome to the world of my house when the doorbell rings. This is my dog. Did anybody see my reel earlier on? Did anybody see my reel? My dog pooed in a client's house earlier on. True story. Mortified.com. He's part and parcel of my life though. Okay, so Danica, at the moment mine sometimes take 4 months to convert. Okay, so that's fine, but we haven't got into your sales yet, so that's going to reduce down significantly. That will Harley, please stop. That will reduce down to about 6 weeks. Because what we need to do with you is bring you really, like, niche you down, get into your messaging, ask, and then give them what they want. Give them what they want. So let's go back to this in terms of orchestrating your offer. How do you create your offer? You're constantly asking people what do they need. Constantly asking people what do they need, and then your offer is giving it to them. It's the transformation that will get them there. Kira, what are you shouting about? You shouting about the dog or the fact my dog shite? So know that your offer is a lot more easier than what you think it is. It isn't complicated. It's literally giving people what they want. So we are on the hour now, ladies, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer something to you. I am closing the doors to Take Off, which is my 12-month coaching program. So it's a business program that will get you from 0 to sold out clients. You get to determine what the sold out looks like for you. You're going to learn the launch sequence, and we're going to go deep in your messaging. You're going to get very clear on your niche. You're going to have a sales strategy. You're going to have all the behind the scenes in terms of your emails, your social media, like how you actually speak to people, how you create the messaging. But I'm going to be closing the doors for this cycle on the 4th of September. So I'm dropping the link here for you to book a call, for you to see if it's a right fit for you and to see what's possible. If you don't book the call, you don't know what's possible. It's a roadmap call, which will walk you through what it would look like specifically for your business. What does your roadmap look like? Like, do you know what your B to A is? If you don't know what your own one is, then that's a perfect call to book so that you can see what your B to A is. How do you create your B to A? What is your roadmap? We all have a roadmap, and you've got to know what it is, because if you don't know what your roadmap is, how are you going to get your clients from here to here? You're not. You need to know what your roadmap is to be able to do that. So the call is there. The link is open. Take Off, the doors for Take Off will close on the 4th of September. That is that sales cycle done. Complete. I don't launch all the time. So I taught you on the first day, which I can't remember what date it was, around the launch your business, which is that you don't have to go into sales cycles all the time. What do? You do 50% audience, 25% sales, and 25% nurture. Right? That is all I sell for. If you were selling all the time, you would be exhausted. So what I teach you how to do is how to do this on a much larger scale so that you don't have to sell all the time. Imagine how much fun that would be to not have to sell all the time. It makes life so much easier. So much easier when you don't have to sell all the time, because you're bringing in bigger volumes. And what also happens is, when you're in your period, which I showed you before around the launch cycle, because you're in front of so many people, you're also bringing in other avenues of opportunities. So if I look at the last audience build I went into, I signed a book deal, which is done. That's done. I also am in one of those done for you bundles, which is going to go out into another summit. I'm in 2 other summits. I've been on, I think, 4 or 5 podcasts around the world, which are all other streams to be able to bring an audience in. So this is why you don't need to be selling all the time. You can just sell 25% of the time, because your traffic in gets bigger. But it gets bigger because we go big at the start, which is what you want to do. You want to make your life so much easier. So ladies, that is it for today. Keep dropping your questions in. Please drop your questions in, because if you don't, you're only shooting yourself in the foot. You're not going to get the answers that you need. And on Monday, I'm going to show you how you do this consistently, so that every time you're in your sales period and you're making offers, you are making 5 figures every time. Every time. In case you don't know what 5 figures is, we're talking about 10K. But we're talking about sales revenue here. So this is where you get to see how it actually happens and how you get to make it work. So my lovelies, you are very welcome, Kira. So I will see you all on Monday. if I don't see you on the call before then. Bye.